Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Great.
Okay.
All right, let's cut
I think
everything.
we got it.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Curly's like dying.
No, it's like, I get it.
You're watching The DM with celeb stylist Audrey, Brianne, and fashion publicist Tyree Robinson. We're now in season 3 of our podcast where we review the best in costume design in film and TV.
We'll now feature live episodes with celebrated costume designers, stylists, and content creators. We're here at room service at Beverly Center. We hope you enjoy the show.
Today's guest is a writer, actor, and celebrated personality. You may have seen him on BuzzFeed's Pero Like, E's What the Fashion, or perhaps you tuned in to his recent White House social media briefing with Press Secretary Jen Psaki. We're thrilled to welcome Curly Velasquez. In addition to an impressive resume, Curly is a dedicated activist and supporter of the LGBTQ community. Curly's career spans over 10 years in the entertainment and fashion industry, and he's become a well-beloved online star. Curly, thank you so much for joining us today.
Wow, congrats to both of y'all, by the way.
Oh,
This
you're
is
so
amazing.
sweet.
How many
Thank
times
you.
did I walk around and go like, holy, this is amazing.
Thank you
I was like
so
touching your
much.
flowers during your intro. I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
You are so sweet.
If that's missing later, you know where it went.
Right? So can you tell our audience just a little bit about you, like background, what it is you do?
Well, my name is Curly Velasquez. I'm born and raised in LA, in Hollywood. Melrose and Vine, to be exact, is like my neighborhood. I always talk about how like I was baptized on the south side of Vine, like went to school on the south side, and then got my first big job on the north side of Vine, which was BuzzFeed. But it was like never intended to like get into the industry that I'm in.
Yeah.
I actually started in the kitchen, as you know, at BuzzFeed. I used to serve their lunches. I used to like stock their kitchens. Well, I was hired as the receptionist, but when I got there, they had no phones. It was still like a kind of new and up and coming company, no phones, and I spent all my time in the kitchen. And then it kind of just blew up. It just blew up. And I kind of landed in all these different spaces. I went sober because of it.
Yeah.
And now I'm here, like hanging out with y'all, you know? But it's been like quite the journey. As you know, you've
Yeah.
watched, both of y'all have seen me
Yes.
be
We've
like,
seen you flourish and grow and come into your own.
yes, but go from being like a young 20-year-old who was like drinking and crazy and like sleeping with everybody to now being like,
I think I met you
prude.
when you were like 19. You were baby
I was
when
a baby,
I met you.
yeah, I was baby.
Yeah, it's been a long
I'm still
time,
a baby,
though.
but it's fine. Yeah, no, I mean, I was a mess, and it's
Yeah.
cool. I'm still kind of messy, but now I'm like a little bit
It's
more.
like a controlled
I know what
mess.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna wake up tomorrow and be like, what the fuck did I say? Like, did I really say that?
So we're gonna dive right into our Q&A, and
Yes.
my first question for you, my friend, is: so when you're on screen, do you work with the costume designer or do you dress yourself?
I dress myself always. Sometimes costume designers or stylists will tell me what they want me to do,
Yeah.
but I'm always like, it's gonna be my style and what
Totally.
I'm feeling always. The one person that I am working with a lot right now is Oscar Olima, who is
Okay.
also another LA Salvadorian queer kid who has dressed
Nice.
like everybody. Like everyone's like worn his clothing.
Yeah.
Like La Lindsay Lohan, La Lady Gaga. I don't know if you remember, do you remember when Lady Gaga was on Oprah years ago and she was like beating up this car and her outfit like busted at the zipper? I don't know if you remember.
Was that him?
This exists. Go look it up on YouTube. It's a real thing. That was his, right?
Oh my
like
gosh.
he was like, "Fuck, I used the wrong zipper." We're like, "It's fine. You had a moment. No
Yeah.
one will ever forget when her
Yeah.
outfit opened up on Oprah." But he's kind of like the go-to right now for a lot of like queer creators, a lot of people across the industry who want a look
Yeah.
that only he can give.
Yeah.
So like he's kind of the only person right now who I let, like, yes, you tell me what you think. If he's been making like a lot of like corsets, so I've been in like a lot of like male corsets, which are really dope.
I love that.
Yeah, it's super dope. So definitely I would check out his work.
Right off the bat, were you into corsets, or did it take a minute to
I mean, I feel like who doesn't
get
like
into
being
that?
like constrained a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like you do get like a little panicky sometimes. You're like, oh, I can't breathe. But you're like, who needs to fucking breathe? I'm fine.
I can't breathe.
It's fine. You're fine. You're good.
Yeah.
Do y'all
funny.
wear corsets, or are you into?
I don't.
Negative.
Are you into being like? Is it
I
like
don't want to be snatched. I
fashion
wanna-
over looks for you, or?
I think when it comes to like my hair, I'm
Yes,
always like,
yes.
it needs to be pressed and laid.
Yes.
But for clothing, I'm a little bit more relaxed.
You're a little bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't even know the last time I like bought an outfit or like went
What?
somewhere, but like I try to keep it very like simple, like jeans and a crew neck sweatshirt or like something
I dress
very
up at
simple.
home. Like I have at home
love that.
outfits. I'm in slacks. I'm in my little like Converse at home, a nice little T-shirt.
Cute.
Like I'm always like, if there's an earthquake, I'll be ready.
Yeah.
Or I'm naked, which is
Right.
like the other thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, for me, it'll always be fashion over comfort. I don't give a
Nice.
fuck.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
So you were on What the Fashion.
Yes.
What are some memorable moments you had from that show?
A lot. There's some that I probably can't talk about on camera just because they're so problematic, but they're so juicy for dinner where I'm like, can you believe this is what went down? Like, there were so many times where I was like, did they just say that on camera? And they're like, oh yeah, we have to like delete this. And I'm like, it's fine, like whatever. But overall, it was really cool to be able to, I'm a Virgo, double Scorpio.
Nice.
So like, if you tell me the topic is gonna be like tacos de birria or whatever, I'm gonna go and research tacos de birria, right? Like I'm gonna go and look it up so that I have something to talk about.
What does that mean?
Oh, like they're just, it's a sort of taco.
Oh, okay. I was like,
What that mean? They're delicious, by the way. They like dip it in like this consomme. I don't know how to say consomme in English. But it's like the sauce, essentially, of like cooking this meat. But, where was I in my head?
We're talking about tacos. Memorable moments on What the Fashion.
Yeah, but why was I talking about tacos?
You research things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
like
thank you.
yeah.
So it was so dope because it was cool to like learn about a lot of different people, like learning about Pierre Moss,
Yeah.
you know, and learning about why his collections were so important and why everybody wanted to get into the shows and why now I understand like the importance of him having a haute couture collection. Like it's really cool to go in and learn those things so that when people are like, I don't know, I'm not really feeling those pants, you're like, can I tell you about those pants actually and why they're, it doesn't matter if you don't like them because they're so important, you know?
My gosh.
Yeah.
So things like that are really cool.
Yeah.
Having hair and makeup is really dope too. You know, like they were like, oh, last week your face didn't match your neck, so let's see what we can do this week. I'm like, go off, queen, let's do it. But it was great. I mean, and also just not having, as you know, like when you're your own content creator, when you're doing your own stuff, you're writing, you're doing your research, you're setting up your camera, your lights, your boom. That's how I knew my levels over there, because I'm like, yeah, I know how I talk. Like, it's nice to just go in and sit back and just basically give your opinion on clothing.
Yeah.
You know?
Speaking of clothing, you have amazing style. I love it. Today's cow print is
Today
great.
was a standing only outfit, and if you know what I'm talking about, you know that there are outfits that are for standing only.
So we're a little
Like I'm not leaning back.
Right?
And then you have that other thing where you do this with the pillow, and you're just like, yes, look at that. And then we started to touch the pillows.
but as far as your style, can you tell us like any icons you have and just where that part of you comes from?
Oh my God. Truly, like my icons are Andre 3000. I love Andre. I'm always
He's
like, what is he
great.
wearing? I think like early to mid 2000s Pharrell, I would say.
Okay.
And then I like to mix it in with what I call like new Latinx. It's kind of just like a vibe of like, how do I honor like vaqueros, like people like where my family came from? How do I honor parts of my culture, but really mix in what I think is cool, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me throw a leather daddy hat on and some cow print, call it a day. I'll wear my dad's cowboy hats.
Yeah.
Like, and they're that's what he works in. That's what he like goes out and does like the I don't want to say the gardening at our house, but like, you know, where he does like the yard work, right?
Yeah.
And I will steal his hats, and it's just a part of what I think is cool and what I feel like honors my culture. So like bright colors, earth tones. I'm actually kind of weird about colors, to be honest.
Really?
Unless it's like the Mexican kind of, by the way, I'm Central American, I'm not Mexican. I'm out here talking about tacos de birria, I'm not even Mexican. Yeah, like if I'm wearing like a serape type of jacket, like, and I feel, that's where I feel the most comfortable, where I walk in and I'm like, I'm here, I'm repping.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times too, as like a creator, for example, if you go to things like VidCon or you go to things that are predominantly for white creators, I want to show up. Like, I'll wear like a giant Virgen de Guadalupe. I'll wear like something that is very much part of the culture so that you know who walked in.
Yeah.
You know, like you're just, it's like, you know that I'm going to be repping wherever I go.
Do you get inspired by film or television? Like, is there an iconic show or a movie that
I would say
inspires you?
Movies for sure. I think that for me, the biggest influence, and I feel like a lot of fashion people love it, it's The Fifth Element.
Oh my God, Lilu Dallas multifaceted.
Yes, you know, you already know. Like, it's just iconic. Jean-Paul Gaultier did the whole thing. Like, they offered Chris Tucker's role to Prince, but Prince thought it was too much.
I never knew that.
Just like over-the-top stuff, like all these different clothes that you're just like, I always wanted to grow up to be that
Yeah.
person, and I kind of did in a
Yeah,
way, where
you
I'm like,
did.
I show up and I'm just this, you know, I think I'm fairly chill, but I'll be in like a floral thing and just,
Yeah.
you know, backless or whatever.
You're very fearless with your style. Like,
Which is crazy, because as a highly functioning anxious person, I'm
yeah.
always like, I have to go between. So I it's kind of a lot of fun stuff, but my first ever Beyonce show that I ever went to, Leona Lewis took me. Remember, I'm like,
Oh my God, I love her.
she's
Yeah.
amazing. She's like, do you want to go to see Beyonce? And I'm like, oh yeah, with you? Yes, let's go. So we
Yes.
go. And I'm sitting there, and I was like, oh man, I was getting anxiety about what I was gonna wear, and I was gonna go like in a leopard shirt, and I was like, oh, I think it's too much. This is years ago, by the way.
Yeah.
So I go in like a navy blue or something, just downplaying it. And behind me is EJ Johnson in a leopard shirt. And I'm like, nice shirt. Like that
Yeah.
was really, and I always think like, damn, I never forgot, like, I could have had a moment. I could have been like, yes, both of us. I could have
Yeah.
been equally as like, not powerful, but like striking in my appearance,
Yeah.
but I downplayed myself. And that happens a lot. It was very symbolic of things. So I have to like constantly go back and forth where it's like, do you want to express yourself and have these moments for you? Or
Yeah.
do you want to just play in and be like a little lamb that just fits in? And I think more oftentimes than not, I'm like, we're gonna have to figure out the middle. Today I almost wore like a giant Vivienne Westwood hat, like
Oh
a
my
big
gosh,
one.
I would have loved to see
But
it.
I was like, I was gonna wear like a giant Dickies shirt with giant Dickies shorts with socks pulled all the way up and a
Yep.
giant Viv. And I was like,
Ooh.
I'm not really in that mood right now. So then I just texted you if I could wear cow print.
Yes, and we love this cow print.
That's funny.
Who is it
Yeah.
by? Can we ask?
But, none of my clothes will ever be by anyone. It'll be like the Goodwill. It's by the Goodwill.
There
No,
we
this
go.
was like a vintage find.
It is a
And
good
it was little.
one.
It's a good one, right?
Yeah, I like it.
My hats will be from cool people,
Yeah.
but my clothing is usually like,
Like,
oh, I just found this.
yeah.
I'm also just like really big, like, you know, I always go to Alden, cool and casual. It's Black queer owned. I've been going to him since he was like working out of his mom's garage in like South LA.
Wow.
Giant piles of vintage. I would take off my shoes. I would climb these mounds of like clothing. And now he has his own studio downtown. Like, so I feel like
That's so great.
most of my money when it comes to clothing will go to my friends that are either selling like really cool vintage or making the stuff or painting the stuff.
Which you used to be a designer.
Yes,
Do you-
it's so hard.
Do you miss designing? Do you still make things?
Yes and no. I like will co-design with people, and I'm like, this is what I'm looking for. This is the kind of corset that I want. So like right now, Alima's working on like a navy blue corset for me, but I want another artist in the IE. Who's a Latina artist. I want her to draw this beautiful Sacred Heart thing. I have a Virgen de Guadalupe one to look like a John Leguizamo corset. But yeah, no, I don't miss it. There wasn't a lot of money in it in the way that digital, you're like, yes, what do you want me to do? You want me to make a reel and a post and a da-da-da? For how much? Beautiful. Versus like in fashion, I was like, you want me to make a dress for how? That's how much you want to pay me for a whole ass dress that took me that long? Like, it was too much. Like stylists se pasan. How do I say like in English? Like people go overboard. Like
Yeah.
they're like, Nicki Minaj needs this now, and you're like, how do I do that? Like I don't have the time. I'm sewing by myself. I live like what am I doing?
Yeah, yeah.
And now it's kind of cool to like I go to different parties. I think the first time that I had that realization, I went to this fashion party, and this guy came up to me and was like, what do you do? Are you like a stylist or
Stop
what?
it.
And I was like, not at all. I
Like,
post
no,
content, and
honey.
I probably make your whole salary in one thing. Like I was just so like, so mad. I don't make their salary, whole salary, the whole thing. I'm just kidding. But I was just kind of like just so mad, and I get so mad at like how fashion is can kind of get a little like snobbish and like
Yeah.
who are you? What
Oh,
do you
yeah.
do? Like the internet world is worse, to be honest. It's like,
Really?
yeah, you're in a
More
room full
critical.
of people who have millions of followers. You don't know who the fuck they are.
Yeah.
But they're just like, I have 16 million people that follow me, and you're like,
Like, oh,
great, your
casual.
personality sucks though. You have no idea how many like YouTubers I've sat next to, and I'm like, I hate you. Like
Oh,
you're
gosh.
horrible.
Yeah.
I sat next to these two, some tea. I sat next to like these like famous YouTubers, and I was like, I really love your outfit. You look so good. And they were like, Dolce & Gabbana. I'm like, bitch, I don't give a fuck. Just say thank you.
Not
Fuck.
Dolce & Gabbana.
And then this like other huge YouTuber came in, hella late, wearing their own merch, by the way. I was like, oh.
Oh, Lord. That's a choice.
And then they were holding like a camera, like the mom from Mean
Yeah.
Girls, like filming the award show, and, like kind of doing like this kind of a thing. And then she sat in the middle. I was like, "You're late. Sit down." Like, da-da-da.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
hungry. All they're serving here is fucking cookies in the shape of emojis. It all sucks. It's like I left one world of smoke and mirrors for another world of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Do I miss it? Yeah, I miss it.
Do you still design some stuff?
I mean,
or-
just my own stuff. Like
Okay.
literally, I'm like, I want this. I want to wear this. This is what I want on red carpet. I have an event, or I have to like, I'm going on like a college tour later this year, and so I'm like,
Nice.
on this, I want to wear a giant fur hat with ears. I want to wear a corset that like goes all the way down that just shows my tattoo but not my nipples. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So in that aspect I do, but I'm not there with like, my little sewing machine.
Yeah.
I used to rest my head on the sewing machine and just sew for hours like this. Like I don't do that anymore.
I can't.
So moving to a different topic, you're
Yes.
very supportive in the Latinx community, different
Yes.
ethnicities, sexual orientation. Do you think that our industry is moving forward, or do we have more work to do?
Oh man, I feel like everyone is kind of behind. I mean, everyone, you know? And it's been so interesting to see how like now people want to be a part of it. Now people are like, oh, we should do something. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
Like, what's happening? I think there's always going to be a lot of change, a lot of things that we should be doing. I feel like enough is never enough. Like, and it shouldn't be. You know, like we should keep seeing more, and we should see diversity all the time. I mean, I started a whole other platform called New Latinx because I wanted to see the diaspora of Latinidad outside of these huge networks like Telemundo, Univision, and I was like, my cousins don't look like that. Other Latin people that I know don't look like these people on TV. And so I wanted to kind of, and I was really inspired by Afropunk because I was
Okay.
like, wow, that's so cool that like, you're seeing like creative Black kids expressing themselves in fashion, in texture, in jewelry, in music. And I was like, there's not really that space for Latin people. Latin people are really traditional.
Yeah.
And so they don't really allow each other to be like Bad Bunny, like, you know, like Bad Bunny, like he's really opening, that's a whole nother topic, but like he's really opening a lot of ideas of what Latinos are okay with masculinity looking like.
Yeah.
But it wasn't always like that.
Yeah.
Do I think it's changing? Yes. Could everybody do better? Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
You know?
Same.
So how would you describe being a content creator? Like, do you have a team? Do you create everything and write your own material?
I do have a team, but it's not like, it's like I have like my team as far as like agents and managers.
Yeah.
But like as far as what do I do, I have like my family, which is really dope. Because most of
Yeah.
my content too, this is why I'm always like, I'm not really an influencer. Like, I don't
love
really.
your grandma.
I mean, I post my grandma, I post my mom, I post my dad, I used to post my nephews and my sister, but
Yeah.
my sister was getting kind of scared that the babies were getting recognized when they were going out.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, they don't know what that means,
Yeah.
right? And so I stopped, but whenever people are like, oh, you're an influencer, I'm like, what am I influencing you to do? Call your mom, call your grandma? Like, that's all I want to do. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Like, now I feel like I have to because I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
like you will see me being like, buy this box of flowers. It is amazing because I have to pay my bills.
Yeah.
But the real is like, I just want people to really live in those moments of tenderness and outside of trauma, outside of tropes, outside of stereotypes. A lot of
Yeah.
times it seems that Latinx creators get caught up in creating content that is like, we're gonna make quesadillas, and you're like, I'm so Latino and Hispanic moms, and it's like, just show your mom.
Yeah.
Just show me your mom. And like, I just did a video yesterday. I just put it up where I just said the things back to my mom that she said to me. And she just, like literally like when I cook for her, she's like, oh, do you not like to use salt? And so she's shading me, but this time when she cooked for me, I was like, oh, you don't really like using salt, right? And just her reaction is just, it's gold and it's real.
Yeah.
So it's like, just have fun with your family, have fun with your friends,
Do
live
they
it up.
mind that you film them, or do you have to like ask? Or?
They don't know that I'm
Okay.
doing it. Like I'll be like holding my phone, and then afterwards I'll show them, and then they laugh. Like I think that they get a kick out of like the moments that I'm capturing. You know, I was trying to capture my mom yelling at me the other day, and I want to auto tune it. Like I want to like make a beat out of it. But for some reason she was like cool and casual that day. Like did not yell at me at all.
Oh my God.
Do you, like, what is fashion to you? What does it mean, and how do you let it express yourself and tell a story about you?
I feel like you gave me the question and the answer because I'm like, it allows you to express yourself and tell a story about yourself.
Sorry,
No,
sorry.
you're good. But I feel like that's exactly how I feel. Like
Yeah.
you are expressing yourself, presenting how you want to present, which is really powerful. It's also like a privilege that a lot of people are not afforded.
Yeah.
Like there are so many queer Latinx kids out there, or just queer kids in general, who can't go out in gazelles in eyeliner, in a fucking cowboy crop jacket, like, you know, and so I think that it's really cool to kind of recognize where I live in the bubble of LA, to kind of honor, I keep saying, I think that the creator really loves diversity. Like when you look at the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, the flowers, the insects, like, speaking of insects, right? oh, never mind, my brain goes over. I always think that's my grandma whenever I see a fruit fly. I'm always like, whatever. But I think the creator loves diversity. It continues to create it. And so I feel like humans are kind of one of the only things that are like, not us. We all have to look alike. We have to be the same. We have to be in line. And it's like, the more that you honor your own creativity, the more that you honor your own like unique energy, you really honor the creator, and you kind of are just like, honoring the energy that made you. Yeah. And so I feel like when I walk out in Calprint, it gets scary, you know, because it's a scary world out there. Yeah. But I'm like, well, yeah, at least I'll go out in a cool outfit that I like if something happens.
Yeah. God forbid.
Okay, well, no. Do you have another question? Okay. I just want to say, personally, I've known you for so long. I'm super proud of you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And we are going to play a game of this or that when we come back. The DM is hosted in partnership with Room Service at Beverly Center, LA's premier shopping and lifestyle destination in the heart of the city. Room Service is a first of its kind private members club designed to elevate the shopping and dining experience for LA's influential creators, VIPs, stylists, and costume designers.
Membership includes complimentary valet and self-parking at Beverly Center, access to a unique and stylish member lounge, private conference and fitting rooms, and complimentary amenities such as steamers, rolling racks, snacks, and beverages.
To learn more about Room Service membership, follow us on Instagram and click the link in the bio, or visit www.beverlycenter.com.
So the game is this or that, super easy. We're gonna start with always a this or a that. It's just kind of an either or sort of thing. So, and if it's like both, just you can kind of wave it, and then we'd love like a little brief explanation of
Amazing.
Why.
Did you make these?
We did. Yes.
You made these?
Yes.
Homemade.
How sweet. Oh, how.
So private label or off the rack? Sorry, private label, off the rack.
Does off the rack include like vintage and Goodwill and stuff?
Yeah, let's include it.
So what am I?
That,
I would say that. Maybe like old label stuff, because I will say there's a really cool archivist, high fashion Salvadorian queer kid from K-Town. Everybody goes to him, the Hadids, the Kardashians, literally in his DMs. Pachuga Vintage. His stuff is really cool, so I would do his stuff.
Nice.
So maybe a little bit of.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, do you prefer acting or hosting?
I would say a little bit of both. I would say this or that. Because sometimes hosting like red carpet shit, I'm like, I don't care. I don't want to be on a red carpet. Or like, I don't want to like try to sell you this pen. This pen! Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, Audrey, you should check out this pen. This pen's amazing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really work on camera. And then acting, like the other day I had a scene in class where I had to pretend to like be straight, and all I could hear was my gay accent where I was like, yeah, I really want to kiss you. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I sound so gay right now. Like I couldn't do it. But I think a little bit of both. It was fun.
Are you good at memorizing lines?
I'm getting better.
Okay.
Yeah, you get better. Just keep practicing. I couldn't do what y'all just did.
Oh.
That is like, I thought you were reading something back there. I was like, what is how are you?
Memorized.
There's some things that I'm like, I'll just use the voiceover, put a graphic, I'll just talk into a mic, I'll send you a voice note. Just call it a day.
Do you online or network TV?
I feel like the goal is to get to network, but I will say that a lot of network stuff is informed by online stuff now.
Okay.
Like I get really happy when I see like my friends' jokes or my friends' ideas show up on TV, and I'm like, you know, we started that, right? Like, you know, we wrote that together. Those are our ideas, in a lot of different ways. So like even movies, like I just watched, not just watched, I saw it like years ago, but it's a Love, Simon movie, and it opens up with like a scene of like if straight people had to come out the way that queer people do. Yeah. That's literally a BuzzFeed video. Like I'm like, oh, we did that video already. We've done it. Like it's like a twist on things, and it's supposed to be. By the way, I'm not saying that I'm not taking credit for your movie, but I'm just saying that like a lot of things that you see. So I'm gonna say internet forever. This.
Okay. Yep.
This.
Okay, you're wearing a hat today, but I know you like blazers. So hat or blazers?
I would say hat. Yeah, you can wear whatever. You could wear like a little bandeau and call it a day and have your hat. It's fine.
So we're curious because it's like, we always think of you as like a comedian, but like, do you like comedy or scary movies?
Oh shit. Depends on who I'm with. I like a good comedy if I'm alone so I can giggle.
Yeah.
But scary movies are a good opportunity to like latch onto a bicep, you know? Grab onto that.
And that's the end of the game, but I wanted to know, Curly, is there anything you want to plug or like talk about that's upcoming that our audience can like know to look out for?
Well, man, there's a lot of stuff that is happening that I can't talk about yet.
I was just gonna ask, can you speak about it?
I can't talk about yet, but we do have a new podcast coming out. Can I say that?
Yeah, of course. Sure.
There's it's a podcast coming out with me and my BFF. It's called The Hoe and the Prude. And it's basically just like, she's kind of like prudish and I am an ex-hoe. So I have tons of experience. Not so much anymore, I promise I'm a whole new person. But yeah, so it's just like experiences about dating, sex, and kind of just being okay with being either one and like maybe living in the middle too.
When's that coming?
That should be coming out within the next 2 months.
Amazing.
So check us out, check us on the socials, and then
Please check that out, it sounds so good.
And then you can find me at the Curly B Show, which is
Yeah. Well, we wanted to just thank you again for your time, Curly. I am so proud of you because, like, I've seen, like, we started at the bottom, now we're here. Like,
Yes.
you've stayed so humble and your energy is so good.
Thank
like,
you so
we're
much.
just really
Thank
thankful
you.
for your time and for
I love you
knowing
both. Thank you for having me. This is so exciting. This is so dope. I might steal something on the way out.
Thank you again, Curly, for talking with us today. This was so fun.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Guys, this wraps up our episode of The DM with Audrey, Brianne, and Tyree, where we interviewed Curly Velasquez.
You'll find links to Curly's social media in the description box below. You can follow him across all platforms at The Curly B Show.
If you enjoyed the show, please introduce your friends to our work, rate, review, like, and follow. Check us out on thedm.net or on Instagram at @AudreyBrianne and @TyreeStyle.
A special thank you to Nearby Sound for our theme song. The DM is produced by Joe Passarelli, Audrey Brianne, and Tyree.
Boom.